the truth is that the further away from March that the date moves, is the more likely or unlikely it is that we'll be having champs this year.
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Your favorite analysts are here to share their feedback on the latest happening in sports. Now, in a recent press release by the Ministry of Health and Wellness addressing restrictions under the Disaster Risk Management Act, that includes national curfew and a restriction on the number of people who are gathered in any one place, so a maximum of 15 would be extended to January 31st. Now, this has implications for a lot of things, including champs. The restriction was originally to be relaxed on January 15th, and a number of track and field meets were scheduled starting after the 15th, and those has to be postponed. Guys, this has serious implications for champs. So with the original proposed date of March 23rd to 28th being in jeopardy, there is an alternate date of the first week in May. So I just want to hear your thoughts on the delay in making a decision on whether March will be the actual date or the alternate date in May.
All right. Well, given how close our timeline it is and the amount of development meets that's needed, I don't think March is really would be possible at all. And really and truly, the alternate date would make a lot of sense to have. I'm not certain how much training would be. They will get a lot of training in before that time, but there's a possibility for that date. And given even a curfew scenario that's imposed now on face-to-face school stuff and that, March is near impossible, and May is seeming more likely.
But Balak, I don't know if you participated in any sports at all when you were going to Wolmer's, but is there enough time to make a decision and have a successful championship in either March or May?
Well, to answer that quickly, not even sports day. But the thing is, it's COVID, and it's really a sticky situation. You gotta be thinking for the safety of the athlete, the health and well-being of the athlete, the coaches, and their family, because these kids aren't homeless. I hope they are not, because after all this, they gotta go home to their family and loved ones. So it's a sticky situation, and we just gotta take it day by day, I guess. But the paramount focus should always be the health of the student athlete, yeah.
But Brocky, with May being the proposed date, we have on our academic calendar, CXC. How will this change affect the athletes, especially those who want to seek sponsorship to go abroad, scholarships, and so on?
Well, Kurt, the truth is that the further away from March that the date moves, is the more likely or unlikely it is that we'll be having champs this year. We had champs canceled last year. Once it started to push towards April, May, going close to time for CXC, then that first word used by Balak, student athlete, will now start to kick in, and we'll hear about the pressures being faced by students in terms of their preparedness for their examinations. And so it's very important that if it's going to happen, it has to happen between March through to April latest. If it goes beyond that, then certainly it's in trouble of being hosted.
Eddie, it must be a challenge for the schools, especially with the doubts about the restart, to continue to train, not knowing whether or not they'll be champs or not.
Yeah, Kurt, it's a big psychological impact on these student athletes, because it's very tough to go out and train not knowing if you'll have a meet to look forward to, and it's very rough on the players, the athletes, extremely rough, and I don't think they'll be in a mental state to really perform at these championships. So you don't want to put out to kind of force these kids to go out and have to perform under certain conditions. You won't get the best out of the students, and on a whole, I think the product will suffer as a result of this. So, the kids should just probably sit out this one. I don't think they can make it for this new date.
Higgins, listening to what Eddie saying about sitting out and the struggles that the athletes are facing, this will be the second year of the cancellation. And I don't know, a lot of these athletes, they love to run and they would want to represent their school and their country. And at this time, if they're sitting out, it really means that there is no opportunity to run or represent anything.
Yeah, that's true, Kurt. That's true. And I myself look forward to seeing the athletes on a yearly basis run and give their all and win. The Clayton twins, I wanted to see them. I wanted to see Davis. I wanted to see a lot of athletes who have been doing well the previous years. I want to see how well they are doing now. It's really disappointing. I feel kind of disappointed in that it might be cancelled given the time we're in now. But the push forward to me is a good look. And we can hope and pray that the Big C just gives up and everything just goes back to normal. So we can have these events.
Well, Ray, with the doubts about restart and pushing it to May, will this be like the worst champs we have in terms of competition?
Not necessarily. The only way it could possibly rival that is if the format changes a lot, and what you have is that the risk of less competition, within on the field and so forth. That alone I think could probably impact how in terms of how exciting the champs would be. So, for example, if you find that you're having less athletes and stuff like that, there wouldn't be so much chance of competition and racking up points and stuff like that. So you wouldn't have that.
Okay, with the lack of competition right now, I mean, some of the smaller schools will struggle because they may not have athletes to qualify to run at champs. What will happen to those schools and the financial impact that it may have on the school's sports program?
So, I mean, not being able to compete is one thing in terms of for those schools, because they can't feel the athletes. There are already health implications there. They are already struggling with keeping their schools according to the public health protocols, and it's just not expected that with all of those costs that's involved there, they are now able to actually to provide for the students as well and keep them safe. It will be a more expensive champs if people are supposed to participate. It will require a lot more public health protocols being implemented by schools and personnel, and it just looks very bleak and dim, especially for smaller schools who don't have the type of resources and old boys associations and funding personnel to actually get things running. So that's a real challenge for them.
Balak, tell me what is happening in your country now, because I'm sure there are sporting activities taking place. And what can we do here?
When you asked that question to Brookie and he was answered, I'm thinking, the NCAA kept all their competition are still going on. I'm thinking we should at least try. I know it's hard, and we don't want to come with these like loose rules that, it's COVID. We got to take this thing serious. So, if it is that there are positives we could implement from the collegiate system here, and translate it to Jamaican setting, we should do that. The point that's been resting on my mind since you start this topic though, Mr. Host, is, you know, those seniors who, you know, depend on, you know, the final performances at champs in the final year, you know, more than any other year, to go to a college. And I mean, even though a lot of them have been going to the track clubs in Jamaica, some of them really depend on the ones overseas too, you know, and especially for an educational background, you know. I'm thinking, oh, that, you know, COVID and a lack of champs, you know, will affect that.
Same
And
way it
I'm
worked last year, Balak. They'll
well,
use their previous records and they know the athletes already, especially if you're a senior. And hopefully they did well enough to impress the colleges overseas.
yeah, but you and I know that's weak sauce though. Like an athlete, you could see an athlete what. So basically, the senior this year wouldn't have competed last year, and they are not competing this year either. So I mean, you're going back 2 years back to look on their performance back then. I mean, I hope that the scouts actually find some way of making it work. You know, that's what I hope.
We know that the government has to look out for the best interests of the country, but we are constantly reminded that this is our new norm and we would want to learn and we should learn to live with it. But is our new normal a life without sports? And this is the question we at Sports DTM want to ask. So we want to hear your views on this. Should champs go ahead? Should the government give the green light for sports to restart? This has been another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Like, subscribe, follow, leave your comment in the section below. We definitely want to hear from you. We're looking forward to more sports so we can inspire and motivate the youth. Be blessed.